Hello, my brothers and sisters by God. This is your brother in Christ, Abstract Schnitzel, here with another video. Even as the Ben 10 vs. the Universe movie aired, and the Ben 10 Power Trip video game came out, there is still plenty of Ben 10 news to cover for this Omni News video. So let's dive right in. For our first story, Ben 10 co-creator Duncan Rollo has continued to answer questions from fans on Twitter. One Twitter user asked Duncan if Goop would return in Season 5, or if Goop was exclusive to the movie, and Duncan said that Goop was exclusive to the movie. This means that we will not see Goop in Season 5 of the Ben 10 reboots. You might be wondering, well, why? Didn't the pod switch? Well, another user on Twitter asked if Goop and Waybig's pods replaced pods in the loading chamber, and Duncan replied saying they would have switched, but Ben needed to have hit reset for them to stay, which he doesn't know how to do, so the settings were automatically set back to default. When asked if Waybig was temporary like Goop, Duncan said he couldn't say. Here's what I think. I think Waybig will return in Season 5. If he wasn't going to come back, Duncan would have said so, like he did for Goop. If he was going to come back, Duncan wouldn't want to spoil it, which would result in him either saying nothing at all, or saying he can't say. So I guess you could interpret this meaning Waybig will come back. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Another user asked if there will be a toy of Goop, and Duncan said that Playmates Toys would make that decision. Another Twitter user asked Duncan if the ectoneurite we saw in the movie was a scare, or just a regular ectoneurite, and Duncan said it was just a regular one. Another birdie boy asked how Vilgax sent the dream to Kevin, and Duncan replied saying he used snooze tech. When the tweeter speculated that Vilgax found random snooze tech in the null void, Duncan said that Vilgax was linked to human DNA since he reclaimed his own from the Omnitrix, and could speak to others through himself. One tweeter mentioned his feelings about Gwen and Charmcaster, and Duncan said the team is working hard on the front and plan to have announcements soon. Speaking of announcements, someone on Twitter asked if Season 5 was figured out, and Duncan replied saying it was figured out and that production is almost finished. It looks like things are really picking up again. Another user on Twitter asked if Alien V was less powerful than a regular Celestial Sapien, and Duncan replied saying something in the show didn't allow Alien V to get full power. I think he's referring to the Antitrix's limited power. Another user asked if non-canon aliens from the original continuity were in the Reboot Omnitrix, and Duncan replied saying that only the canon aliens from the original continuity are in this Omnitrix. This is probably for the better. Another tweeter from another heater asked if Skrd would be in Season 5, and Duncan replied saying there were no plans for Skrd. Another person asked if the crew for a sequel to the Ben 10 reboot would be the same or different, and Duncan said it'd be hard to keep the same crew. Speaking of sequels, according to Duncan, the crew is developing many options for a sequel to the Ben 10 reboots, with many factors that will determine the final decision. Here's an interesting one. One user asked if the Reboot Omnitrix has a self-destruct, master control, and recalibration mode or anything similar, and Duncan said some of those questions will be addressed in the upcoming Season 5 stories. It looks like we can look forward to learning more about the Omnitrix in Season 5. And oh, what do you know? The Flexi Boy returned with some new heat. He flexed on Duncan 20 times at once, asking what level the Antitrix would be. And Duncan said it was nowhere near the Omnitrix level, and that it was far more violent in its conception and execution, and that manipulation of DNA was only half of its operation. Going by the original continuity standards, EarthTech is level 3, and the Omnitrix is level 20, so the Antitrix would probably be somewhere in between those two numbers if we were going by the original continuity standards. Another dude asked if there would be an Alien X type fight in the series, and Duncan said Alien X would be used sparingly, but there was a possibility to see Alien X again. In other news, Ben 10 Omniverse art director Derrick J. Wyatt has now received over $3,000 in donations, and recently came out with brand new holograms for Jet Ray and the Decagon Vreedle alien. I think they look pretty cool. One Ask.fm user asked Derrick if the Biometrix could fuse more than 2 aliens, and Derrick said it could if he wore one on his leg. I give great thanks to those in my Discord server for helping me collect information for these Omni News videos. To stay up to date on Ben 10 news, or just talk about Ben 10 in general, and other stuff as well, feel free to join the Ben 10 HQ Discord server. And don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, share, and comment. God is supreme. God bless.